Okay, students will be able to identify the names and calculate the measures of angles formed by intersecting lines. Excellent. Let's start with this do now problem here. Can you write the name of 3 angles associated with this figure? Well, what a lot of students don't realize is when you have a letter at the angle of a triangle or any other polygon, there could be more than one angle that are going on there. For example, right here, if you go from A to B and then A to D, there's an angle right there. It's kind of hidden right in here. That angle is just one. Then we have another one right here from A to C and A to D. So this angle that's right in here, that's green. But there's also one other angle up here. And that's from this angle, this blue one. So the blue one would cover all of that. So we can name all 3 of those. Let's start with the blue one. The blue one would be called angle CAB. Oh, let me fix that one. Angle CAB, because you're going from the C to the A to the B, or you could switch it around and call it angle BAC. The important thing is that the A is the vertex. That's where the turning changes. It starts from going up and then it turns and goes the other way. So that's where the vertex is, so that's why we call it that. Let's just name 2 other angles that you see in the picture. Let's pick red here. There's one right down here. The angle there would be called ADB. So we have angle ADB. And just one more for fun. Let's pick purple here. Let's go with this angle right here. See if you guys can figure it out. But I'm going to choose to call it angle ADC. Angle ADC. All right, now let's talk about linear pairs and the angles that are formed. What we see on the screen right here is we have 2, let's see if I can get my pen. Where's my pen? Here it is. I'm going to fix that. We have 2 lines intersecting. And when you have 2 lines intersecting, it creates, well, in this case, 4 different angles. I'll number them. We have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So let's talk about some of the things that happen here. We form a linear pair. A linear pair is a pair of adjacent angles. We're right over here, by the way. Adjacent angles formed when 2 lines or line segments intersect. So the linear pairs that you might see are these 2. Let's get blue here. 1 and 2. Let me fix that. Let's do that better. 1 and 2. Those are linear pairs because the 2 of those angles together make up a line. Also, I'll go to a different color here. We can choose 3 and 4. Those are also a linear pair. And you could also call these 2, 3 and 2 a linear pair, and 1 and 4 a linear pair. Supplementary angles, that's this word down here, this big S word. Supplementary angles, if the sum of the measures of 2 angles is 180 degrees, then the angles are supplementary. A linear pair is supplementary. Let's take an example here. If I erase, let me get a bigger eraser here. Let me erase all this stuff. Oh, look at that. I erased the line. I had to fix that. Now let's go back over here. Let's say this angle is 100 degrees. This angle next to it, because they're a linear pair, has to also be, well, has to add up to 180. So 100 plus 80 is going to give me that 180 degrees. That makes these 2 angles a linear pair. It also means that they are supplementary. Okay, now let's move on down here. Vertical angles. Vertical angles are each of the pairs of opposite angles made by 2 intersecting lines, and vertical angles are congruent. I didn't really describe what congruent meant. Let me do that right now. Congruent means having equal measure. So if I say that something is congruent, that means they have equal measure. All right. Now, vertical angles are each of the pair of opposite angles made by two intersecting lines. So let's mention two vertical angles that we see in this picture. I'm going to say number 1 and also number 2. Those are vertical angles because the line that goes horizontal here and the other line that crosses it makes those two angles. So this one and this one will have the same exact measure. So if I said this one over here, number 1, angle 1 is equal to 50 degrees, that would have to mean that angle 2 is also equal to 50 degrees. Now, there's one other thing we want to talk about, and that's the word complementary. Complementary. If the sum of the measures of two angles is 90 degrees, then the angles are complementary. You guys probably know what a right angle is. A right angle is 90 degrees. So this one right here, angle number 1, that would be a right angle. That would have 90 degrees. So the measure of angle 1 over here, I like this size to be a little bigger here. This is going to be 90 degrees. So if the vertical angles are across from each other and they're formed by two angles, angle 1 and angle 3 would be the same. Angle 3 also has to be 90 degrees. That leaves us with a few others. Angle number 2 we don't know, and angle number 4 we don't know. But since we have a right angle here, and this whole thing, if I go all the way around from here all the way around to there, that's a linear, well, it's not a linear pair, but they're all supplementary together. They would all make up a line, and they would all add up to 180 degrees. We already have one angle of 90. That means this angle together has to be 90. So if we have 90 degrees, and we have to take away 58 of those degrees, how many will we have left? Well, there would be 2 here and 3 there. That makes 32 degrees. So the measure of angle 4 is 32 degrees. And then we have one more left. Well, what do you know? This angle over here is 58. This 2 has to be vertical. This 32 was vertical from that 32. That means this one also has to be 58 degrees. So this is 58 degrees. Okay, last thing to record for today. We have a whole bunch of lines being intersected, creating angle 1, angle 2, angle 3, angle 4, and then these two angles of 41 and 49 degrees. All we have to do is come up with all these angle measures. Well, 49 and 1 are vertical. They're opposite each other. So that makes angle 1 also 49 degrees. And let's write it over here too. This is also 49 degrees. 41, this 41 degree and this 3, those are opposite each other. So they're also vertical. And that would make this one also 41 degrees. So that's angle 3, that's 41 degrees. That leaves us with 2 and 4, which are vertical. So once we find the measure of one, we're going to find the measure of the other. Let's just split this down the middle. Let's see, that right there is a line. And let's take this half. We have 3 angles that make up that 180 degrees. So if 49 and 41, we have to add those together to try to figure out what that number 4 in the middle is. 9 and 1 is 10, and 4 and 4 is 8. That's 90 degrees right there. So if these two angles make up 90 degrees, that would make angle 4 have to be 90 degrees. Because 90 and 90 is 180. So 180 minus those 90 gives you another 90 degrees. So angle 4 makes 90 degrees. And since angle 2 is vertical, that's also 90 degrees. Let's try the bottom here. Angle 2 is 47 degrees. Let's write it in, 47 degrees. Angle 8 is 32 degrees. And the measure of angle 7 is 43 degrees. That looks too much like 90. Let me fix that. All right, so let's fix that and make that a 4. 43 degrees. Calculate and label the measures of all 8 angles on the diagram. That's what I was just looking right here. That's number 5. List all the angle pairs that are complement. Let me do the first part, number 5. So 32 is number 8. It's vertical number 4, so that's also 32 degrees. What else do we have that's vertical? Number 2 is 47. Number 6 is also 47 degrees. Number 7 and number 3 are vertical. This is 43 degrees. And that leaves us with just angle 1 and angle 5. I'm going to try for 1, so it looks like it's easy, and then the other one's going to be vertical. So 47 degrees and 43 degrees. Let's add those together. I think I know what the answer is going to be. It's going to be 90. So this big angle right here is 90 degrees, which leaves us with 90 here. So if the whole thing's supposed to be 90, let's go with a different color here. This whole thing is supposed to be 90 degrees. 90, take away 32, leaves us with, wow, 10 minus 2 is 8, and then it has 58 degrees. Sleep. 58 degrees. So angle 1 and angle 5 are 58 degrees. List all pairs of angles that are complementary. I'm just going to list 2. We don't have to do all of them today. I'm just going to cross that out and say 2 pairs of angles that are complementary, 2 and 3, and also 7 and 6. List all combinations of angles that are supplementary. Let's change that also. Let's say 4 combinations that are supplementary. Let's go 7, 6, 5, 4. Remember, supplementary means adds up to 180, and since these are all, well, not a linear pair, but it's 4 angles that make up 180, so they're linear. How about 2, 3, 4, and 5? Those all make up 180, and one more. Let's go 8, 1, 2, and 3. Are angles 3 and 4 complementary angles? Explain and justify your answer. Let's see. 3 and 4. Well, 3 and 4, they're right next to each other. That doesn't mean they're complementary, though. We have a 43 degrees and a 32 degrees. That gives me 75. So no, by definition, they are not complementary. Let's write in the answer. Let's see. Let's put it right here. I don't know how to change the font size. I'll figure that out. Oh, here we go. Let's go with 20. That's better. Angles 3 and 4. I have to fix this. Are not complementary because their sum is not 90 degrees. Let's fix this and make it capital A. And that is it. I think we're done with the page. That is linear pairs and supplementary angles and complementary angles.